Experience the passion for the World Series by Renault with Elf Lubricants.
Hello and welcome to a grey and overcast Nürburgring as we get ready for round 4 of the Formula Renault 3.5 series for 2012. Hello everybody, Martin Haven and Tom Gaymore sheltering in the commentary position after rain swept through at the end of the preceding Megane Trophy Euro Cup race. We are of course in the Eifel Mountains, the Nürburgring built in the 1930s, the Nordschleife, one of the most legendary racetracks of all. But on the modern Grand Prix circuit, today's race, 44 minutes plus the final lap, and Tom Gaymore with the compulsory pit stop as well.
Yes, lots for the teams to think about today in terms of strategy. A pit stop is basically something that will open this race up. Some of the guys in the midfield will be looking to go slightly earlier. The weather, the possibility of a safety car, leapfrogging those in front of them. It's going to be a difficult time for some of the guys that are looking to be a little bit more conservative down into the sort of 6th to 10th position. So lots to fight for. We see the championship points here. Robin Frins took that over, didn't he, Martin?
Yeah, Robin Frins, the Dutch driver who was on the podium in 3rd place yesterday, now leads the series by 2 points from Sam Bird, the erstwhile leader. And the car's out on track on the formation lap, but look at the sky. I mean, one of the factors in this race, of course, is everybody has left on slicks. The track is barely damp around the edges, but there is a compulsory tyre stop. So does that now, Tom, mean that everybody's going to throw plan A out of the window and wait for the rain to make their tyre stop? You have to change 2 tyres anyway at some stage between lap 4 and 14, so you might as well hang on to the end of the gap and see if it's going to rain rather than make an early stop and then be forced to come in with everybody else, which will completely chuck your race away.
Yeah, like I said, in normal circumstances, teams or some of the guys looking to be more aggressive will stop earlier, get the clean air and maybe even hope for a safety car. It's not beyond the realms of possibility with the uncertain weather that you could get a safety car. So yeah, but now with the thought of rain, really, can you afford to stop early is the big one.
Yeah, I mean, you might have wanted to if you're further back on the grid to get some clear air, but I don't think you've got much of a chance. Yesterday's 3rd place man, the new points leader, starts first. Sam Bird starts in 7th place, and he was around that position on the grid yesterday, 9th spot, wasn't he, and struggled to make any headway. This is not a track on which it is easy to overtake, I'm afraid. The speed of the cars, they are pretty much maxed out in most of these corners, so it's hard to find any advantage. Antonio Felix da Costa down in 19th place on the grid. He had a good run yesterday through to an eventual 9th position. Was 10th quickest in qualifying, but lost his fastest lap for red flag infringements. Qualifying interrupted by a red. 6 minutes of the session left remaining when they went back out on track. So, Tom, it was basically a one-shot shootout, a one-lap, if you were really lucky, a 2-lap run, and it was Robin Frins who made the best of it.
Yeah, it's a 3-horse race though, isn't it, at the moment? What we're hearing from the drivers is some of the guys further back, their car actually feels good. Now, what do I mean by that? They're not really reporting oversteer, understeer. They're actually reporting a good balance, but their car's not generating the amount of grip or the downforce that some of the teams are further in front. So lots to do for some of those teams and some of those engineers to try and catch the likes of Fortec, Lotus and Tech 1.
And spots of water on the camera lens, never a good sign. Nick Yellowly comes to the grid again. Didn't complete yesterday's race. The Englishman very unwell indeed, I'm afraid, and hopefully feeling a little better this morning. But he is on the grid, and the cars are completed by Lucas Foresti right at the back, who is outside the 107% rule, but has been allowed to start. On your right at the front of the grid, red and white car, the Fortec Motorsport driver Robin Frins, and the red lights and yellow flags wave. Who has stalled? Away goes Freins, immediately covers off Marco Sorensen in the Lotus. And around the outside, yesterday's winner, Jules Bianchi from third on the grid. He's challenging for the lead. Will he get second? He does. He's inside Sorensen. Good start from Bianchi. He was in absolutely imperious form yesterday, Tom Gaymore, and it looks like he didn't wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. And it's raining already. Or somebody's been through a puddle and coated Kevin Magnussen's lens with water.
No, it's really, really raining. That large cloud is now above us, and the rain is starting to come down. The windscreen wipers were on the medical car, so Frins now, best case scenario, he's made a good start, he's into the lead, but when you're the leader, you're the first guy travelling down to these very damp zones, and it's more across the start and finish. I don't think it's raining so much here.
Yeah, it looks like it. We're in the clear air. Sam Bird in fourth place, up behind Jules Bianchi, and looking to make a move on the inside. There's going to be a touch. No, Bianchi drifts out wide. Bird is going through into third place. Great start by Birdie, and cars are off. Now, does that mean it is for... Oh, team formation. Yeah, goodness me.
Cars. Negrau.
Oh, dear.
Negrau and Muller. So what has happened to Muller's made a disastrous start, hasn't he? But it's all about Bird. Look, Bird now all over the back of Sorensen as Bianchi's outbreaks.
Three wide. He goes up the inside. It must be wet here as well. It is. It is pelting with rain. Look at the tracks being made by everybody. Bianchi comes back on top. Robin Freins somehow appears to be finding dry track. Bird back down to fourth. Are we going to see a safety car? Not at the moment.
You've got to pit now. It's really raining.
You can't pit now because you'll still have to do a compulsory pit stop after lap 4.
No, it'll be declared a wet race.
Was it declared a wet race? Did we see the boards on the grid?
Yeah, it has to be.
Did we see the boards on the grid? I can't tell you whether it was declared a wet race or not, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so, Magnussen's in. The Carling...
Oh my goodness me, and look at that. 12 wide. Okay. There is Antonio Felix da Costa in the Red Bull car. He's come in down pit road as well, Tom. It's going to be absolute carnage, and now we will get a safety car. So those that are broken for the pit lane are going to pay the price. Those that haven't, if they make it round, will benefit. Freins leads. Sam Bird in fourth place, trying to find some traction to get around Marco Sorensen. He goes by the Lotus. Jules Bianchi, the black and red Tech 1 car, he tries to go by side of the road. That's Carlos Huertas, who started on the back of the grid.
And Ramos was in the pits as well, so...
Yeah, Magnussen is in, having his 4-tyre stop. He's on wet. Well, at the moment, Tom,
they have a massive problem on that left front.
Oh, dear. Survival may be the main feature. Brand new wets. Bone dry here. Look, no spray at all.
So the Carling crew have... that's the other Dams car.
That's Foresti.
So a couple of cars, you saw da Costa as well. So they're all gambling that this is going to be a prolonged shower. It doesn't look safety cars out.
Had to be. Too many cars abandoned.
If this continues to rain now, these guys are in a really difficult position.
No, not so, because they can wait until the pit lane opens and make their compulsory stop, and the others will still have to stop again. No, it's not a compulsory stop because the pit lane is not open for the compulsory tyre stops.
Right.
So you will have to stop again. That is your decision to make that stop. It's not a compulsory stop. And there you can see number 3 car of Carlos Huertas sitting down on the right rear, so he's been made contact with from behind. And Tom, there was about 14 cars all over the road in that chicane a lap ago, so hardly a surprise there was contact.
Yeah, it got very, very wet towards the end of that lap, and with the cars concertina together and squabbling for grip, it's very, very difficult to keep control, and contact was inevitable.
Well, let's take a quick commercial break as the safety car waits to gather up our lead quartet. Safety car conditions at the Nürburgring. We are in a timed race, don't forget, so these are laps lost effectively. 44 minutes plus 1 lap once time has elapsed from the moment the leader gets back. Safety car is out after the first lap, where the race started on a dry grid, but even as they were coming around on the formation lap, the drivers were coming through rain showers. And the onboard here from number 11, Cesar Ramos. Well, he didn't have much of a start, did he?
He couldn't get second gear.
Yeah, box full of neutrals, got it there eventually.
So that's why he was at the back, and then he crashed later on this lap, didn't he?
Yeah, and then into the rain already, just a few spits and spots, and that down towards the back.
Marchenko, isn't it?
That was Marchenko, yeah. Dear, oh dear, so...
Noblitsky. it was Noblitsky, because Aleshin was further ahead, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that's Noblitsky.
Oh, I think no, it's on the wrong side. No, that is the right side of the grid from Noblitsky. What happened to Nico Muller? He was very strong yesterday, finished in the top 3, had a good start. Where does he go off? Doesn't really. On board with Nick Yellerly.
Lots of wheel spin.
Yeah, loads of wheel spin.
Short shifted, managed to get out of it. Didn't make a bad start there. These guys have launch control, 6 settings of launch control. The maps are between 5,250 RPM, 8,000 RPM. This is on board with Magnussen. They also have 3 throttle maps, so they would have dramatically been trying to change their launch control maps and their throttle maps for the changeable conditions. So lots to think about for these young guys in the car.
Magnussen getting jumped by Michaela Leash in there. And there was one of the Dams cars alongside him as well.
So especially with the throttle map now, they'll be on the 3rd setting, which is the most passive.
Softly, softly.
Absolutely.
Well, safety car is out. Car 22 under investigation, we're being told. Andre Negrão, well, he went off in sync with his teammate Nico Muller.
Yeah,
they both spun off together. Sounds like one of them, and possibly Negrão, therefore, just drifted out wide into Muller. We have lost 3 cars. Cesar Ramos in the Lotus, who went backwards at the start dramatically. We saw that. Jan Cunha for Pons and Carlos Huertas for Fortec. Vittorio Girelli in the pits at the moment and has not come back out after his pit stop. 7 drivers have stopped. Best placed of which is Lucas Foresti in 15th, ahead of Kevin Magnussen, Daniel Merv, Antonio Felix da Costa, Nikolai Marchenko, Will Stevens and Giovanni Venturini. And for them, nothing other than an outright deluge now is going to rescue them. They jumped to make a change to wet tyres before the pit lane was open for compulsory pit stops. We are on lap 3 now. After one more lap, if it rains again, then everybody who has not stopped can combine their compulsory stop with a change to wets. On board with Nico Muller. Oh, that is...
that's under safety car conditions.
That's Negrão, yes.
No, that was Muller spinning. We're on board with Negrão.
No, we're on board with Muller. Muller had the onboard camera.
No, you're right.
So that was Andre Negrão trying to pass somebody, or actually probably not trying to pass somebody, but just outbraking himself as somebody else stopped a little earlier than he was expecting. I would think that's much more likely to be the case. After all, he did know the safety car had been out for 2 laps.
Yeah, I mean, this is really annoying for the guys on wets, because they are not being able to capitalise on the wet conditions. It just so happens that we had so many cars off in the same sector within 2 corners, and that's the problem, because not enough snatch vehicles, flatbeds, to get rid of them quickly. So
and the real problem there was actually Carlos Huertas, because he was stopped on the straight up against the pit wall with damage, and there's nowhere to get him to, so you'd have to get a safety car out to get a truck out there.
Yeah, so also, do they really want to let everyone go on slicks?
Well, you know, you pay some money and takes your choice. When you're a race director, if you think there's a good chance of rain, you declare it a wet race, which means you are not going to red flag it if it rains. That also allows people to make the choice of wets or dries. Unless it's declared a wet race, you cannot use wet weather tyres until it rains. So you have to go to the grid on slicks. So by not declaring it a wet race, even if it's not raining, the race director forces everybody to start on slick tyres. So that's often, you know, you'll often see cars sitting on a dry grid and the wet race board being shown, and that's why the race director allows people to have the option to make their own choices, Tom.
Yeah, this is a situation that we don't get too much of in World Series by Renault, having to change the tyres before the compulsory window. You are right, I think, but it all does come down to whether or not it's being declared a wet race, and we don't have that information.
We didn't see that, I'm afraid, no.
To hand, so...
Jules Bianchi's family there. He lies in 2nd place, yesterday's race winner. Robin Fryns the leader. This is lap 4, at the end of which they can pit for tyres. Cesar Ramos down there, and Jan Cunha, the Pons Racing driver.
Both Brazilians, so they'll be talking to each other in Brazilian.
Again, can you believe this rubbish? Look at the side pod on the Lotus. That's had a bit of an impact, hasn't it? but then there were so many cars skating off. Okay, everybody in the pit lane, stand by. Safety car cannot come in this lap, I believe. Let's see if we can, where does sector 2 end? Let's see, you can find all this stuff. Sector 2 ends just before they get to the Vidal chicane at the top of the hill, whatever it's called this month. There's the line.
The lights have got to, no, this is the lights.
Safety car in this lap, no action in the incident between Negrão and Girelli, where Negrão outbraked himself. So safety car is going to come in. If you're Freins, are you changing your tyres now, or are you going to stick it out for another lap? I'm going to stick it out for another lap, Tom. Are you going to gamble or go?
Yeah, but this part of the lap is relatively good. It's one of those ones now, well, the driver and the team have a big call to make. You know, we need to wait and see where we are in terms of the pit lane window.
Lights off on the safety car. We are at the end of lap 4. We have 31 minutes still to go here in the Nürburgring.
I think they'll pit. We've done 4 laps, so...
Yeah, they can pit at the end of this lap. They don't even have to cross the start-finish line. They can all come filing in. Who's braking for the pit lane? No one is. They're all going to be amber gamblers. Here we go. Robin Freins leads from Jules Bianchi and Sam Bird, who's got traction. Hands up. In the Dams car, Arthur Pic, whose brother Charles won race 2 here in 2009. Nice stat there, Tom. He has got some traction, but it is Robin Freins that leads. Here's Magnussen on wets. Now, for half the lap, wets are going to be solid gold. For the other half, they're going to be a liability. How's that balance going to work out?
Yeah, also, he's got to watch out that everybody in front of him will not be on a conventional line. They will literally be going from one side of the track to the other as they squabble for grip. Around the outside will be the natural feel for these guys is very, very difficult on the rubber. It's not as wet as you would have thought. Now it's going to get wet. Around here, down to the hairpin, is where we're really struggling. Look at Rossi up the inside.
Rossi's up the inside, and he's gone straight into the Dams car, and I think that was Lucas Foresti.
I think the way...
Oh, beg your pardon, I think that was Pic.
Yeah, the way they contacted, it means that Rossi will be okay. The Costa Snow...
Yeah, until he gets a penalty. Kevin Corjus as well, the green car spinning around, the car with the green highlights, all at sea, and he's had contact from behind with somebody. That pretty much sums up the Estonians' luck this year. So Freins is leading, Bianchi second, Bird is third. That car on its own is his teammate, the second ISR car.
Rossi trying to defend from those on wets. That's a brave move on slicks, but
Magnussen goes through
Magnussen now. So let's look at how much progress Magnussen makes, because they've got a real headache now, the teams and drivers. Do they wait now? It could dry out.
Well, Magnussen's now in the top 10. You're looking at the battle right in front. Grubmuller and Move. Move is on wets, Grubmuller is not. 10 is on wets, 9 is not. Let's see how that balance works out, because at the moment a wet tyre off this tri-corner, Tom, is going to feel like a road car tyre.
Well, Magnussen is in the ascendancy at the moment, because he's where he was when he, you know, when they stopped, basically. So if he has to stop again, it's not a real loss. He
does have to stop again. There's no if, buts or maybes. It's whether he can get to the front in the wet. Oh, and look.
Bianchi in, Frinz staying out, Bird staying out.
Freins and Bird racing for the lead, wheel to wheel. Bird's on the curb, just gets away with it, and so does Freins.
That I have my heart in my mouth there, because as soon as I saw Sam being edged out towards the curb, you cannot accelerate on the paint. And he would have known that, but he couldn't back out. Look at Grubmuller. Is that Grubmuller looking racing?
No, that'll be Daniel Move in the P1 car that is on wets. Further back, that is Rosenzweig in the second ISR car. And Nick Yellerly on board with Magnussen. Magnussen was 8th at the line, and away goes Bianchi. So he's done his compulsory stop, and he is going slicks all the way. And do you know what? Unless it's a big shower, I think he's right.
Well, he's going to have clear track now, so he's going to be able to push like mad. This might be a good move. But watching Magnussen's right there now.
Battle for the lead again. Right, we've got to look everywhere at the same time. Freins versus Bird. Third car there is Marco Sørensen, who was right in that battle at the start with Bianchi as well. It was 4 of them, and each of them, I think, got their nose in front for second place. And now, for the first time, Freins has been passed. Sam Bird goes through.
Great driving by Sam. Sam looking very calm and collected in these conditions. He was very quick in the damp and wet conditions at Spa, and he's looking good now.
Sorry, Tom. Fourth car in that queue, that is Daniel Move. He is the best wet-tired car. Behind him, Antonio Felix da Costa, the Red Bull car, is on wets as well. Behind him, Mikhail Alishin is still on slicks. That's the black and orange RFR car.
Well, those wet, the guys on wets haven't lost any ground. They've gained ground because Mauve was not in fourth place, so he has to stop together with everyone else. Bianchi
and that is Bianchi, who has made his compulsory pit stop. Yesterday he took his first win of the season. He became our 6th winner in 6 races. Well, he's not going to be his 2nd winner. Yeah, I think that's down at the bottom hairpin, the Dunlop hairpin. Oh, and off on the grass goes da Costa, despite having wets on.
So
and into pit lane comes Friends from 2nd place. In as well comes, that'll be...
That's Mauve.
No, he's already changed.
Yeah, but he's got to change again, so that was Mauve.
You're right, it was Mauve.
So Bird leads comfortably from Sorensen. Da Costa, I'm pretty sure Da Costa's on wets. It's so difficult to see. Magnussen's definitely on wets.
Safety car is on standby. Bad news for those who are changing again. Look at this, Will Stevens in the blue car down the inside of the Dams machine. Shoots it up the inside of Artur Pick.
So they'll go
Friends. Yeah, 2 tyre change. That's compulsory. Stickers on, so they are new tyres.
Now he'll get the clear track and the momentum to move away.
Who else was in the pits? Mauve, Artur Pick, Nico Muller and Anton Naplitsky, as well as Vittorio Girelli, all came in that lap.
So Bianchi, the rule was to get in and get some clear track and push. He's pushed too hard. So Bianchi there, all the good work from yesterday undone.
Yeah, absolutely. Bad news for him.
The man at the moment doing Bianchi's job yesterday, Sam Bird, at the front, looking very, very good. Sorensen just gone purple first sector, but not too much quicker than Sam. As we look at these guys, well, Will Stevens is on wets, definitely.
Will Stevens pulling his way up the order. This is the battle for 6. Stevens, the blue car. Yellow car is Lucas Foresti, then Marchenko and Yellerly up to 9th. So he is clearly feeling a bit better.
So this is Jules
How Jules Bianchi got out of that gravel trap? He was nose up against the barriers. I suppose being French in a French racing series doesn't... Oh, he found reverse. What, and reversed it back on slicks out of a gravel trap? No, he must have been towed out of a position of for an unsafe position, but he's almost a lap behind the leader, Sam Bird, and it has stopped raining at the moment. The gamble on slicks looks like a good one.
The leader is in. Sorensen will take over the lead, so Sam Bird is pitting.
So the race leader is on pit road. He's got to avoid crashing on white lines as he comes to the team. Marco Sorensen for Lotus, the race leader, and already Antonio Felix da Costa, who is currently in 2nd place in that Red Bull car, hunting for water. Now, da Costa has not made his... Oh, has he? No, he was one of the 4, wasn't he? He's not made his compulsory stop. And look, it's basically a 2-litre Formula Renault car could go round those corners quicker. He's got to come in again now.
It's definitely slicks. So Sorensen just got 1:58.4 last time round on slicks. The wet guys are nowhere near. The wet guys are on 2:01. So this is
Bird. They're taking... that's not Bird. That was not Bird. And coming out of the pit lane with a puncture is Zol Amberg. He's coming out of the pits with a puncture.
Yeah.
And through just about goes Mikhail Alishin, who also came out of the pit lane.
So they hit the valve when they pulled the gun out.
But the tyres wrecked.
Yeah, but they've hit the valve must have come out. There must be a failure on that valve.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't think of any other reason.
But he's now got to do 4.5 kilometres to get back to the pits. That car is not going to make it round.
Yeah, don't go to the John Eric Verne school of getting a car back to the pits with a punch.
Well, that's the Gilles Villeneuve school, isn't it? Definitely. But the cars that are on slicks now are absolutely in the right conditions. Well, cars that are on wets, you could drive around quicker in a road car.
Well, yeah, they've got to, the guys on wets have got to get in. You know, Stevens, 4th place. He's done his duty. He has leapfrogged ahead of where he would have been.
And Yellerly 3rd as well. So. And look at da Costa again, hunting out the rain. Look, that slick shod car. That's easy for me to say. Piling up the order. Jake Rosenzweig having a battle on his hands as well. Who's that?
Front wing damage.
22 car of Andre Negrau. He goes by Marchenko, BVM target driver. And into the pits comes Will Stevens. He's had enough. And that's a good call. He got himself up to 4th place. That's a really good effort on what was the wrong tyre on the wrong track. Yellowly now in front of Da Costa. Da Costa's on wets. He's got no chance. He can't outbrake a guy on slicks on a dry track, Tom.
No, it's a weird one. I don't know why they haven't pitted Da Costa that lap.
No idea at all. That looks like a major dropping of the ball there by Arden Caterham, I'm afraid, unless they had another car in.
Well, no, it's a strange thing because, you know, they had a bit of a strange strategy at Spa when they were caught out with the safety car. They didn't even pit Williams.
But look at the gap in 2 corners. He's gone from up his gearbox to 5 seconds back.
No, that's what I said. You know, Martin, I picked it up halfway through the lap before that the guys on wets have got to get off wets. They've got to get on slicks, and I can't believe Costa's driven past the pit lane there, but he has. And what's fooled me earlier is Negrau's actually changed his helmet.
It's even more Nelson Piquet than it used to be.
It's yellow. Yesterday was yellow, so he must have
Saturday helmet and a Sunday.
Yeah, so that's completely stumped me.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe he's got a Saturday signature and a Sunday signature for autograph hunters as well. Did he not? Things that are stranger than that have happened. For instance, Marco Sorensen. And look at the lap times now.
He's 3 seconds faster than anyone else.
Yeah, 1:54.2. That's 2 seconds quicker than he went last lap. So the track is really drying fast.
Well, he's putting in a big challenge to win this race now, such as his pace over these laps. Hasn't pitted yet, but my word, is he fast.
Well, as somebody said earlier on today, now that Formula One's gone ugly, these are the best looking cars in the single-seater business. Also, anything Formula One can do, World Series by Renault can do. 7 different winners in 7 races. Pah! We've had 6 already in 6. We could easily go 7 from 7. If Sorensen wins, who leads? If Yellowly wins, who's second?
Hang on, this is 6 seconds faster than anyone else.
Yeah. Well, Nick Yellowly in second place did a 1:57.7. Sorensen.
2-1.
Sorensen's obviously got the 600 horsepower 4-litre engine fitted rather than the 533.4.
Did anyone tell Sorensen it's still down?
Yeah. Well, it's not though.
No.
I mean, it properly isn't now. It's like it never happened.
The others starting to respond now. Yellowly with a good lap last time round, but still, if you compare it to Negrau at 54.4, you know, that's 3. You look at, I mean, Da Costa's in the 206s. So Da Costa hemorrhaging 14 seconds a lap.
Oh dear, and that's 2 laps too late, at the very least 2 laps too late. And you've got to understand, you know, Da Costa's never driven these cars before, but all the same, you know, your basic racing driver instinct, it's like driving around on jelly instead of slick rubber, Tom. He must have been thinking, no, get me off these.
Well, I can't believe Da Costa wasn't screaming to get in, but he hasn't got the timing screens that we have.
It doesn't matter, does it? You know, you're being passed by people, you're being left by people, you know the car feels rubbish, it's dry.
I can't believe the team didn't pit him, and it'd be interesting to see in their press release if you know, they do allude to the fact that Rossi was in the pit lane or someone was in the pit lane.
Well, it's possible, but, you know, in that condition, as a driver, you're going to lose 5 seconds a lap, absolute minimum on the track. You might as well be sitting in the pit lane waiting for 5 seconds, frankly.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to crash.
Okay, so fastest lap of the race for Sam Bird. He's got his new boots on, and now he's answering to Sorensen. So what is the gap? 32 last time round.
He's down in 6th. Sorensen yet to stop, leader. Yellowly yet to stop second. Negrau, unbelievably, still 3rd, yet to stop. 4th is Will Stevens, who stopped twice. So Will Stevens is our potential leader. Rosenzweig is 5th. He's just gone into the pits, so he has dropped out of 5th. Frines is now 5th, Bird is 6th. They have stopped, the 4 in front have not.
So Frines leapfrog Bird in the pit stop sequence. He jumped ahead of Bird.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, they were nose to tail, basically. They were wheel to wheel when Frines broke into the pit lane, so there was nothing between them at all. On board with Nick Yellowly. Tom's standing up now, screwing his eyes up at the screen. Yellowly, fastest man on track. 150.729 to 150.879 of Sorensen. Both still to stop, and here's the battle behind. That is Frines in the middle, Bird behind, Rosenzweig in front, 2 ISR cars and the Fortec machine. Frines driving around the outside of the American, and
now move out to where the Sam through.
Yeah, no, Birdie's going to go round, but this is a battle for position. Rosenzweig has not been lapped. Bird sides through. Rosenzweig picked up some water or debris on the tyres and just didn't have the grip. You could see the car wriggling under him.
Yeah, he knew he was on the wrong line, didn't fight it, so let Sam through. Good driving from the American. Now Sam and Frines have really got to get their head down, because Sorensen is lapping quickly at the front.
These two definitely could win this. At the moment, Freins, yesterday's third-place man.
We've got 2 or 3 laps for Sorensen to pit. The window will shut on lap 14.
Oh, we could have a two-time winner here. If Freins or Bird, who've both won already this season, win, that could be the end of the one different winner every race. In comes Sorensen. So the Dane is on pit road. And that's going to put a lot of pressure now on the Lotus team. This team from the Czech Republic, because they have got to really turn their man round fast. There the team are, and they know that they have got a chance to get him on the podium. He was leading by 8.5 seconds over Yellerly, who's still to stop, and by 12 seconds over Freins and Bird.
It was more than 12 seconds, I think. That's yeah, see, look. It'll equate to about 30 seconds once the time is updated.
So he's got a really good shot at the podium. Now, where are they from behind? He comes out down pit road, and that is Freins and Bird coming down the track behind him. So Yellerly leads from Negrau, and then Sorensen comes back out in third. That's a great turnaround under pressure from that Czech team.
Yeah, my man, I told you before the race, didn't I, Martin? This guy, we've talked about Freins and Stanaway, who's not here, unfortunately, through injury. But Sorensen, for me, is right up there. He could have won in Motorland Aragon. He was dominant there, but the car failed on him. And he's been absolutely smashing everywhere else. He won at Spa last time out.
Is it me, or are they taking some odd lines and coming off the corners very slowly there?
Again.
Slippery flags are out. It is raining again. Now, this could be another sprinkle. It could be a deluge. Nick Yellerly leads. Nick, stay out until for another lap or two until we find out. He's on lap 12. On lap 13 of 14, and he's got to come in before the end of lap 14, or at the end of lap 14, before lap 15 for his compulsory tyre stop. Goodness me.
So the rain is coming across us. It's not raining as hard on the start-finish straight as it is here.
But look how slippery it is out of the hairpin. Freins all over the road, and down there. De Costa on the wrong tyres again. He must be cursing this. Lucas Foresti goes off with him. They're 16th and 17th. This is effectively the battle for the lead. And they're catching Sorensen, who's just come back on over the AstroTurf. Look at his tyre marks. And Freins and Bird are driving. This is like go-karting in the wet. It's all over the place.
Birdie was awesome in these conditions earlier on in the race. So this is now Sam's territory, Sam's conditions. Now Frins will be working hard to hold him off, and the teams will be scratching their heads, because how hard is it going to rain? They can't stay on slicks forever if it does prove to be a deluge. So
this is what we needed yesterday, isn't it? Yesterday's race made ditch water look clear and sparkling. It was so dull, and in comes Sorensen. He's gambling on wets, and so is Freins. Okay, now this is where the roll of the dice will benefit either 2 or 1, and off his peak.
Is it a safety car with peak there?
It might be. He's on the inside of the circuit, isn't he?
Because he's...
Yellerly is back out from the pits. Yellerly has stopped. Negrau has stopped. Sorensen has stopped. Freins has stopped. Rosenzweig has stopped. And so Bird is gambling. I guarantee Yellerly's just come out on slicks, hasn't he?
Lamberg's just come out on wets.
Wets going on to Sorensen.
There's a lot of people blinking.
Yes, there's a lot of twitching.
I'll look at the TV and you look at the...
Bird is our leader. Goodness me, look, some people now, the third pit stop for Kevin Magnussen. Goodness me, the boys at Cole. Lost wheel nut, but it was not a lost wheel.
I got on wets as well.
Well, anybody who's in the pit lane now is gambling on wets. But did Nick Yellerly put on wets? Could he win this? There is Kevin Magnussen back onto wets, and the right front tyre this time. No, don't go with the guy still attached. Well held by the lollipop man, plus there was incoming on his left. Yikes. Well, look how wet it is in the pit lane. Look how wet it is here. Sam Bird, let's get our favourite little thing up on the timing screen. Sam Bird is half a lap ahead of anyone else at the moment.
Sam's got to pit this lap, which means he has to cover
But does he? Does he? It didn't rain long enough the last time.
You could lose 15-20 seconds in a lap, Martin. He has to pit to cover himself, which means then should he have pitted the first time around? We'll wait and see. He might not even pit.
Carnage all over the place. Bird leads by a little from Alishin, Yellerly, Grubmuller. And we're looking at the second Pons car here, and that is Zol Amberg.
He's on wets, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
but
and that's Artur Pick.
Yeah, so they haven't gone for a safety car. Sometimes they go for a safety car if a car's in a dangerous position with everyone on slicks in damp conditions, because obviously very difficult to keep the car on the track.
Yeah.
Is Grubmuller, because I'm pretty sure Amberg's on wets. Yes, he is. He's just driving around the outside of Grubmuller now, so he took his time.
I think he is. Grubby has stopped. He stopped late, but he must have gone on to slicks. And I rather worry that Nick Yellerly may have gone on to slicks as well.
Whoopsie.
Oops. Well, that was the
Yellerly.
stewards are looking at that.
Was that Yellerly? That's a hell of a move it was.
Oh, go on, give us a clue. Who's that?
Car.
Is that Muller?
Yeah,
it is. Nico Muller now. He's just parked. Okay. Hands up, please, everybody. Would you stop going off? We are having such fun with this race at the moment. We really don't want anything to be red flag. Bird's on pit road.
He had to pit.
There he is. You're absolutely right. You read it correctly. Elysian is on pit road.
Quick stop. Let's get Sam out. This is it. We want to see the start and finish straight.
Let's see him do a little bit more, taming that apex. He's not going to come out as the leader. In behind him, you saw Elysian, who was second. Yellerly is now shown as the leader at the line. So, Andre Negrão back up into the top two. Sorensen is in third place. Rosenzweig fourth. Birdie just getting it stopped. But these things are cold, wet weather tyres. It's going to take half a lap to get them up to speed. Yellerly, did it rain when he was in the pits for his compulsory stop? It did. Is he on wets?
No,
I think he is, yeah.
No, I know he's on wets. He's definitely on wets.
In the pit lane is the number 2 car, so another change of tyres for Will Stevens, back out onto wets.
No, the reason Rossi's Yellerly's there, Martin, is because he literally went right the way to the end of his window. Sorensen blinked, didn't he? If Sorensen had stayed out for another lap and a half...
Yellerly came in after lap 13, so it was raining when he made his compulsory stop.
And he went straight to wets.
Yeah, absolutely.
And literally that was an absolutely blinding bit of strategy from the British
team. And look at the gap he's got. 22.5 seconds over Andre Negrão. He's
got a pit stop, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Of everyone else.
Well, no, not over Negrão, but Negrão spun off, don't forget, behind the safety car, or causing the safety car earlier on, or partially causing it. So, wow, this could be our 7th different winner. Wow, oh no, this will be a 2-time win as well, because Nick Yellerly already has a victory under his belt this season. So we could have a 2-time winner for the first time in the form of Nick Yellerly. It's properly raining on start-finish as well, Tom.
Yeah, this is
viciously bumpy as well. See how he's staying offline all the way down the right-hand side, away from all that nice rubber and oil that you want when it's dry, that you don't want with water over the top of it when it's wet.
Yeah, he'll use the clean bit of the track to get the car into the corner there and accelerate away from the apex, keeping quite tight line down into turn 3, because it's all about staying off the rubber, trying to find the grip. As the 2 teammates, Rossi and Da Costa.
2 Arden Caterham cars, 1 in Red Bull colours is Da Costa. Rossi is 11th, Da Costa in 12th. No love lost between those two, look. Up to the hairpin, looking here at the Team RFR car of Mikhail Elysian as Alexander Rossi, the American, just holding on from Antonio Felix Da Costa, but squirrels wide over the curbs, and Da Costa, the Portuguese, looking on the inside. Of course, Da Costa raced in this championship a couple of years ago in this paddock in the 2-litre Formula Renault Euro Cup. He and Costa were 2 of the real front runners. Robin Fryens has come up from the 2 litres as well, so feeling very much at home. Corjus, yeah, so many of these drivers.
2 former Euro Cup champions, Corjus and Fryens. And Fryens enjoying the same sort of success that Corjus enjoyed this time last year. About how Corjus has just fallen off a cliff a little bit since then, but he's extremely talented, so hopefully he'll find his way again. But this is a big moment for Rossi, because his teammate here enjoying his first weekend in a World Series by Renault car. And we all know that a driver wants to beat his teammate.
Yeah, more than anything else. You'll chip him up and push him down the stairs if you need to.
So it's a Pons car. This is Negrão behind.
Yeah. So Andre Negrão second at the moment. And is that Sorensen behind him in the spray? Is that the Lotus? We can't quite see there. Yes, it is. That's the 3rd place car. So they're coming up to lap Zol Amberg.
Well, Zol Amberg's on wets because he did pit very, very early, didn't he? He was one of the Pons cars that I picked out when Yellerly was in the pit lane.
So Zolamberg, the number 20 machine, is just about to go a lap down. He's the last runner in 18th place. Oh, wicked snap there from Negrau's Draco car, and up behind him comes Sorensen. Sorensen has reeled him in hand over fist just up the hill there.
And Amberg should be getting the blue flags. It's difficult enough to see your steering wheel in these conditions, never mind the blue flags as well. Big lock up there from Negrau. Sorensen
got that damaged front wing, hasn't he, which doesn't help when you're trying to get on the brakes at high speed.
No, yeah, both fronts locked up. Managed to get them unlocked though before he sailed straight on. But Sorensen looks tight. He's not using as much track as Negrau, and if he can just it's almost as though he's teeing him up. Look, the switch back here, he'll get a good run on the exit.
Yeah, Sorensen's driving very cannily. And don't forget how fast he was when he was leading on slicks. This is for second place. The white and blue number 22 car of Andre Negrau. Second place for Draco. Marco Sorensen third for Lotus. And the leader is 25 seconds away and going quicker by 2 seconds a lap than Negrau in second place. Sorensen was also in the 1-minute 50s, same within a tenth of the leader, but now he'll be dropping down to 1:52s. Yellow flags are out, and that's to get rid of the stranded car. We saw that Nico Muller's Draco car being towed away there.
And this is actually getting quite wet for wets. Ironic.
That does sound a bit random.
I'm being serious. Down towards the hairpins, pretty wet.
Yeah.
And you know, these cars run very low to the ground, and when they can't disperse the water quick enough, it's almost like being in a bobsleigh. Visibility will be very difficult now for Sorensen as well. You literally cannot see your steering wheel. Look, you're driving into a film of fog. So, you know, we're talking about trying to pick lines, you know, look at where he's going to overtake.
Oh, and that is Rosenzweig coming up behind and shoots straight off.
Yeah, he missed his braking zone.
And that's Bird coming through. Rosenzweig on the grass. Bird is catching. Bird was 25 seconds behind, but much closer now. Sam Bird absolutely flying. Last lap was a 2:02. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong column. Fastest lap was a 1:50. They're doing 2:03's the leader, 2:04's behind. Bird a 2:02.
See, it's very difficult for Sorensen now because you find the natural rhythm of the car in front because you literally cannot see the edge of the track. You cannot position the car where you want to because you don't know where the restrictions lie.
Yeah.
I cannot begin to explain to you how bad the visibility is when it's like this when you're in a single-seater. Imagine driving on the motorway behind the truck and just turn your windscreen wipers off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do 160 miles an hour at the same time.
Exactly right, with no idea where the truck's going to apply his brakes. Yellowly still the leader by 24 seconds. Negrau, Sorensen, and Sorensen all over Negrau. Now he's got, you see, this is where you've got a chance. In a slow corner where the spray drops, you can see where you're going. You've got to make the most of it. Sorensen is still bottled up behind him.
He'll go again now.
Rosenzweig and Bird are coming, and Sorensen is being very brave, but you just can't make up grip, Tom. So the car with the slightly wetter line, and that was Sorensen, had less chance of getting by, and they've still not passed Zolamberg, who's in front, and that's possibly because actually they can't see enough to get up to him either. Sorensen again in the black and gold, having a look at the top of the hill.
Yeah, Negrau's not terribly quick at this stage of the race. I know he's got Amberg ahead of him and he can't see as much as he'd like to see, but if you compare him to Yellowly and the likes of Bird.
Well, Bird now is going to have a problem because he's catching his teammate. That's the two cars just gone out of shot on the left. They'll be at the top of the screen when they come into shot, the two ISR cars. And Bird is catching Rosenzweig, and he will then be restricted to Jake's speed rather than what he wants to do himself. So we're going to have second, third, fourth and fifth together with 3 laps left to go, perhaps.
Oh, brilliant. Perfect.
It's going to be very dramatic, and at the moment, Nick Yellowly, this is playing very nicely indeed for him.
I can't believe how hard it's rained.
Yeah.
It was threatening to do this from the beginning of the race.
Well,
Sorensen gets a little bit of oversteer into the turn one. That's not going to affect him too much, though. But look at this guy now,
There's
Nick Yellowly. And I was talking to Peter Windsor about Nick Yellowly earlier on in the week, and he was saying how impressed he is with Nick. And for someone that didn't really set the world alight in the series running up to World Series, and he won't mind me saying that, what I mean by that is he didn't come to this championship with some of the momentum, say, Frines came with. He has now established himself as one of the major names in this championship, and there are some big names around him.
It happened when he did those couple of one-off races last year, didn't he? He came to Silverstone, dropped into the Pons car, and he said, I just felt like I'd arrived at home. He said it was just, everything worked so well. It just so suited him. Now, the real problem there, of course, is then if you move on to something different, does that suit your style as well? Sorensen again. This is the replay, him having a look for second. Negrão on the inside. Good move by Marco Sorensen, looking again at our race leader.
Negrão.
No, that was his teammate.
Had a bit of oversteer there as he pinched the brake on because Sorensen was coming across the front of him. Lucky that they didn't touch. But yeah, going back to Nick Yellerly, Martin, like you were saying, you know, for me now, what he has done is impressive because you got the likes of Bird, Bianchi, Rossi, Corjus, then Frines, Sorensen, Stanaway not here. Yeah, big names.
And after a few years sort of off the radar, Comtech are now back to where they were when they
won it with Danielson.
Won it with Danielson, yeah, 2005, 2006, whenever that was. So, yeah, you know, then they were absolutely the team to beat, and now with Nick Yellerly again, they are starting to gel like that, and that's the momentum thing. Driver feels comfortable, engineers are willing to try things, drivers willing to try things. It all builds on itself, and Yellerly leading by 25 seconds.
So Bird comfortably ahead of Frines now, so he's reversed that, 4 seconds ahead of Frines. So Bird with some great pace.
Is that going to give him the championship lead back? It's going to be very tight. It's not as high as he'd like to go. He is still half a second behind his teammate, so there could be a change. Rosenzweig and Birdie.
There they are.
Yes. Oh, look, Birdie's all over the back of him. Now, 30 seconds from here, I think we're going to get 2 more laps. I think Nick Yellerly doesn't dare slow down enough. Has he gone across the line now to start another one? Yes, he has, I think. I'm going to have to swap pictures. You talk amongst yourselves. Where's 24?
So look at Sorensen now using the outside of the track to gain grip as we go on board with Magnussen. Has he locked up?
Oh, yes, straight off.
So you don't lose too much time actually by doing that. You get a good nice exit out of one. He's probably lost about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. You lose position more than anything.
We didn't see the Arden cars going by him, so Magnussen's still in 9th place. He was 20 seconds in front of them. This is the man in second, Marco Sorensen, top rookie. Robin Frines in 6th is our second rookie. Kevin Magnussen in 9th is our 3rd place rookie.
I'll tell you what, if Negrão can finish on the podium from being in the gravel trap on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Spin on that one and outbraked himself under the safety car. It didn't start auspiciously, did it?
Have a wobbly front wing, bearing in mind that we've got, what, 22, 23 finish at 22.
Oh, Yellerly parked it on the apex there.
Yeah, no, what he's doing there is what I was saying. In this sector of the slower corners, the first corner, you'll actually accelerate much tighter away from the apex because you don't want to run wide because that's where the rubber is. Look, he'll keep it very, very tight here on the left-hand side. There he does. Back onto the rubber, build the throttle slowly out towards the exit, but he doesn't use all the road.
Or all the throttle. Listen how gently they're progressing onto the throttle there. With 530 brake horsepower in these conditions, any number of wet weather tyres are going to struggle to put that onto the island. Nick Yellerly then leads on the 20th and last lap. Sorensen second.
Yeah, but he's still faster than Sorensen that last round. So, you know, Nick hasn't lucked into this. Okay, he had a great strategy where he didn't have to stop like the others did, but in terms of pace,
do you know what?
He's been absolutely blistering.
Only one other car went quicker in the dry even, and that was Mikhail Alishin just before it rained again, got a 1:49.7. Nick's 1:50.7 is the second quickest race lap, and he is quicker than anybody else in the dry at the moment. 2 minutes 2.0. And the guys behind, 2 minutes 2.6 for Sorensen, losing ground. Negrão, Rosenzweig and Bird. This for the podium then. Last lap sort out. Is it going to be the Brazilian, the American or the Brit? One thing Sam Bird cannot afford is to get tangled up in a shunt on the last lap here when he's in the points. and due to retake the lead, and that might be why he's pulling out of the spray just to get the braking right. Nick Yellerly comes out of the final corner to become our first two-time winner of 2012.
Well done, Tom.
Seventh win of the seventh race of the season. It's a second win for Nick Yellerly, and that will really start to push him back up the championship standings. Started the day in 6th position, takes a second win. He was the first winner of the year.
Rosenbach?
He's the first two-time winner. That's Jake. No, that's Sam. So where's Jake Rosenzweig gone? So Bird is in 4th place. Sorensen is 2nd. Negrau there is 3rd. That was Sorensen. No, that wasn't. That was Amberg. So Negrau 3rd, Bird 4th. Good news for him. There's Sorensen, and Jake Rosenzweig dropping down the order. So he spun it somewhere at the chicane. That was the only place left. Oh, good for Sam. Tough break, though, for Jake Rosenzweig. It wasn't a chicane. That's a quick place to lose it. He just probably got onto a white line there, and the car just twitched off the track.
I think he would have tried to have gone round the outside. He looked like he was really keen to get that final podium. So
absolutely. Well, it was just sitting there in front of him, wasn't it?
From hero to zero. But this man, and I said well done Comtech when he came across the line, because they got to take a lot of credit for his strategy.
Yeah, this is proper teamwork between driver and team. You can't have a good setup and a bad driver. You can't have a bad driver, a good driver and a bad setup. It doesn't work. It's all got to work well. And Nick Yellerly, who didn't even finish yesterday's race through illness, wins today. Welcome back to the Nürburgring. Confirmation of win number 2 of the season for Nick Yellerly and Comtech Racing. Marco Sorensen took 2nd. Andre Negrau took 3rd. Do apologise for the old married couple bickering between myself and Tom Gaymore. Tom, so much to say and so little time in which to say it. A race that changed its complexion almost with every corner, never mind every lap.
Yeah, it was almost like information overload, wasn't it? The conditions did everything that they...
Oh, let's hear from Nick Yellerly.
3.5 series here at Nürburgring is Nick Yellerly. Congratulations, Nick. Not an easy race from 14th on the grid.
Yeah, exactly. We started 14th and we knew it was going to be a tough one. We were playing for rain, but actually it was a bit slippy on the slicks at the start, and I managed to get to 6th or 7th on the first few corners. Like a mediocre start, but then really good, pace through the first couple of laps. And then from there, it was just calling it right, which I did, which is usually one of my good points. So we got it right today, and yeah, over the moon after yesterday where we had no pace at all. So a big thanks to the team turning it around and won the second race of the season, our second race of the season, and yeah, nice way to fly home this evening.
So it's nice all down to strategy, really.
Well, yeah, and good pace, because we were miles in the lead. So yeah, good pace and then a mega strategy from everyone.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Congratulations indeed. He was so ill yesterday, it was under question whether he would make the start. He did, but he had to pull off before the end of the race and retire, Tom. And as a racing driver, you know how tough that must have felt. And as he said, he didn't make perhaps the greatest of starts he might have judged, but he made up places when it was still dry, and then when it rained, that all helped him out.
Look how aggressive Bird was around the outside there. He made about 3 cars. That was impressive. Jules Bianchi finding it difficult early on, as the conditions really did throw a spanner in the mix, and Magnussen and some of the guys didn't actually lose much time by pitting, did they?
No, looked like they could have been really kiboshed by going too early. They still had to make their compulsory stops after the safety car, and after the safety car, well, it was pretty much dry for the mid part of the race, and a lot of compulsory stops went onto the slick tyre, but then the rain came again. Sam Bird and Robin Freins dicing for the lead at this stage on slicks in the damp. Marco Sorensen, who showed good pace yesterday, that came to his aid today. The rain returned, Bird staying out a little longer than his main rivals. And in the slippery conditions, we had 18 finishers. It's sort of a surprise there were quite that many, actually.
Well, the key was Yellerly and Negrau managing to stretch out their pit window right to the end, and they played the strategy just right, didn't they? Yeah. So they've only made 1 pit stop, whereas everyone else in the field's either made 2 or 3.
Yeah.
The only other one to make 1 was Rosenbach, who well, we saw, spun off on the last lap.
Yeah.
We're about to see a replay probably.
Unfortunately. So Jake Rosenzweig had a chance of the podium, didn't quite get it. Victory in the end going to Nick Yellerly, and to cling on and wait for the rain was definitely a bold strategy. Third place onto the podium. First man we should see will be Andre Negrão, whose cousin Sandy Negrão, of course, raced in Europe for a number of years. British F3, he did GP2 as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did do GP2, and then he's moved back to Brazil. He does the touring car championship.
Yeah, indeed.
Well supported.
Very talented family, clearly. Are there more at home? We'll have to wait and see, won't we? So Draco on the podium in third place, a team that has been so successful for so many years, Andrea Marini's team. And this new Lotus team in second place with Marco Sørensen.
He's impressed me, like I said.
Yeah, how long before he's a winner, eh?
Well, he should have won at Motorland Aragon. He was unlucky with the conditions today, but he is one to watch out for, Marco Sørensen.
And Nick Yellerly, his proud dad, we saw in the collecting area. Comtech back on the top step of the podium, second time this season. Plucky British team, and always good fun.
Nationalhymne zu Ehren des Siegers Nick Yellerly. Damit können wir zur Pokalübergabe beginnen. Wie gewohnt mit Platz Nummer 3, überreicht von Christian.
So the winner's anthem for Nick Yellerly. British national anthem ringing out, and that's appropriate for the Comtech team as well. Third place for Andre Negrão. Boys and girls from Comtech. Second place,
Draco, wasn't it?
sorry, Draco, yeah. Second place for Marco Sørensen. And the winner's trophy goes to Nick Yellerly. He'll be feeling an awful lot better flying home this evening than he did getting out of bed yesterday morning.
It makes it even more impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
His mental strength and composure to turn around what was a very difficult weekend.
Absolutely.
A winning one.
And, you know, a driver that's as determined as these guys are to get to this level, you've got to be so single-minded. To have to park a car because you felt ill, you know he didn't feel just a bit dodgy. You know that he physically didn't actually feel that he could get the car around any more corners. And there was only 5 or 6 minutes of race left, so he must have been utterly, utterly wrung out. So I imagine he probably went to bed about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon and then slept through.
I spoke to Emma Stonia, who does his PR, and she said, you know, it was touch and go whether or not he'd make the race.
Well, good stuff for him. Glad he did. I'm sure whatever the doctor they found to pump him full of stuff, pumped him full of some very good stuff. So Nick Yellerly then celebrating win number 2 of the season as Sam Bird retakes the championship lead. Next time out, a brand new challenge, Moscow Raceway.
Experience the passion for the World Series by Renault with Elf Lubricants.